Your kidney is filtering hundreds of liters of blood every day, controlling your blood pressure with microscopic precision. Now imagine it being slowly burned, scarred, and suffocated without causing a single symptom. That's how kidney damage actually begins. You don't need to be an alcoholic or diabetic. The real danger comes from everyday foods, some marketed as healthy, that quietly attack your kidneys at a cellular level. And here's the terrifying part. By the time you feel pain or notice urine changes, up to 90% of kidney function can already be gone. Today, we stop that before it's too late. We're counting down the top 10 kidney destroyers, breaking down exactly how they damage your kidneys and how to reverse the risk, starting with number 10, something almost everyone eats every morning. Number 10 is the high sodium trap, but not in the way you have been told. We are specifically talking about sodium from ultra-processed sources like canned soups, frozen dinners, and those seemingly innocent savory sauces. Sodium itself is essential for life. Without it, your nerves would not fire and your muscles would not contract. The problem isn't the salt shaker on your steak. The problem is the source of the sodium and the total absence of its partner, potassium. In your body, there is a delicate balance that acts like a seesaw. On one side is sodium, and on the other is potassium. When you consume ultra-processed foods, you are getting a massive injection of industrial salt with almost zero potassium. This imbalance forces your body to panic. To dilute that salt, your body holds on to water. This creates a state of hyperfiltration. Number 9 is a morning ritual that is quietly clogging your filtration system. Non-dairy coffee creamers. You might think you are doing your body a favor by avoiding dairy, but take a closer look at that bottle. These products are essentially a chemical slurry of industrial oils, corn syrup solids, and thickeners. The specific villain here involves whitening agents and emulsifiers. To make that liquid look white and creamy like milk, manufacturers often use microscopic particles that act like industrial paint. When you drink this every morning, these particles enter your bloodstream. Your kidneys are tasked with the impossible job of filtering them out. But because these particles are not food, they can get stuck in the delicate tissue of the kidney, causing low-grade inflammation. Furthermore, the emulsifiers used to keep the oil and water mixed can strip away the protective lining of your gut. This allows toxins to leak into your bloodstream, forcing your kidneys to work overtime to clean up the mess. You are essentially asking your kidneys to clean up a toxic spill every single morning. If you need creaminess, stick to real heavy cream, coconut milk, or even a high-quality butter. Number 8 is alcohol. We all know alcohol affects the liver, but its impact on the kidneys is arguably just as severe. The damage here creates a perfect storm for tissue death. First, alcohol is a potent diuretic. It blocks the signal to your brain that tells your kidneys to hold on to water. This is why you visit the bathroom so frequently when drinking. This rapid fluid loss thickens your blood, making it sludge-like and much harder for the kidneys to push through their filters. But the bigger issue is the toxic byproduct of alcohol digestion. Breaking down alcohol creates free radicals, unstable molecules that act like little wrecking balls, damaging the cells of your kidneys. And there is a hidden kicker: uric acid. Alcohol, particularly beer and sweet mixers, dramatically spikes uric acid levels. Uric acid is not a liquid. At high concentrations, it forms microscopic, needle-like crystals. These crystals can lodge in the kidney tissue, causing physical damage and kidney stones. If you are going to drink, stick to clear spirits in moderation, and for every glass of alcohol, you must drink 2 glasses of water to keep the system flushed. Number 7 is going to shock a lot of health enthusiasts. It is the green smoothie. This is a classic case of too much of a good thing. You decide to get healthy, so you take 3 cups of raw spinach, a handful of almonds, maybe some beets, and you blend it up. You have just created a cocktail that is potentially explosive for your kidneys due to a compound called oxalates. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in plants to protect them from being eaten. Under normal circumstances, you chew your food and your body handles them fine. The problem arises when you blend massive quantities of them into a liquid form. When you drink a smoothie, you are bypassing digestion and flooding your system with a high concentration of these oxalates. If your gut health isn't perfect, these oxalates get absorbed into the bloodstream and travel to the kidneys. Here, they meet calcium and bind together to form sharp crystals. These are the building blocks of the most painful type of kidney stones. But even before they form a stone large enough to block a duct, millions of tiny microcrystals can form in the kidney tissue, causing inflammation and scarring. The key here is moderation. If you love smoothies, swap the spinach for lower oxalate greens like arugula, or simply eat your greens cooked, which reduces the oxalate load significantly. Number 6 brings us to the diet trap: artificial sweeteners. People switch to diet sodas to save their kidneys from sugar, which is noble, but they may be trading one poison for another. We are talking about the fake sugars found in zero-calorie drinks. While they are marketed as safe, your body often doesn't know how to process these foreign chemical structures. There are two major issues here. First, your body is not designed to filter out these laboratory-made chlorinated sugar molecules. Long-term consumption places a heavy strain on the kidney's ability to regulate the acidity of your blood. Second, and perhaps more importantly, is the metabolic confusion. These sweeteners trick your brain into expecting sugar. When the sugar doesn't arrive, your body creates an insulin response anyway. This metabolic confusion can lead to insulin resistance over time, which damages the lining of the blood vessels in the kidney. Major observational studies have shown that people who drink multiple diet sodas a day often see a decline in kidney function compared to those who don't. If you need sweetness, look toward natural, plant-based options like pure stevia or monk fruit. Number 5 is processed meat: deli slices, bacon, sausages, and pepperoni. We need to make a very clear distinction here. This is not about the protein. High-quality animal protein is actually essential for rebuilding kidney tissue. The villain here is the preservation process. Processed meats are loaded with nitrates and preservatives to keep them pink and fresh for weeks on a shelf. When you eat these preservatives, especially when they are cooked at high heat like frying bacon, they convert into cancer-causing compounds in the gut. But there is another factor called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are sticky compounds that form when protein binds with sugar or fat under high heat. Think of these sticky molecules getting lodged in the tiny filters of the kidneys, gumming up the works. Your body attacks these sticky blobs, causing inflammation and eventual hardening of the kidney tissue. The misconception is that all meat is bad for kidneys, but that isn't true. A grass-fed steak or a roasted chicken breast does not carry this toxic load. It is the factory processing you must avoid. Number 4 is a hidden ingredient found in almost all fast food and packaged goods: inorganic phosphates. Phosphate is a mineral your body needs for bone health. However, in nature, phosphate is bound to protein and is slowly absorbed. Your body only absorbs about half of the natural phosphate found in eggs or meat. The food industry, however, uses inorganic phosphate as a preservative and flavor enhancer. The terrifying thing about this inorganic version is that it is almost 100% absorbable. It floods your bloodstream immediately. When your blood phosphate levels spike, your body pulls calcium out of your bones to balance it. This calcium phosphate mixture circulates in the blood and can deposit in soft tissues. This leads to something called calcification. Literally, your blood vessels and the delicate tubes inside your kidneys begin to turn to stone. They harden and lose their flexibility. Hardened vessels cannot regulate pressure, leading to damage within the kidney. Even if your kidneys are healthy now, Constantly flooding them with these additives accelerates the aging of the organ. Read your labels. If it says FOSS, put it back. Number 3 is technically a drug, but it is consumed like candy. NSAIDs, which stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen. We take these for headaches, back pain, or soreness, assuming they are harmless. They are not. These drugs work by blocking the chemicals that cause pain and inflammation. But here's the catch. Those same chemicals are also responsible for keeping the blood vessels leading to the kidneys open and relaxed. When you take a painkiller, you are essentially clamping down on the hose that feeds blood to your kidneys. You are choking off the blood supply. This starves the kidney tissue of oxygen and nutrients. If you are dehydrated, perhaps you have been drinking alcohol or working out, and you pop a couple of painkillers, you are creating a dangerous situation where parts of your kidney can actually die off. If you have chronic pain, look into natural anti-inflammatories like turmeric or fish oil, or focus on fixing the root cause rather than relying on daily pills that slowly suffocate your organs. Number 2 is industrial seed oils: canola, soybean, corn, and vegetable oil. These oils are everywhere: salad dressings, mayonnaise, restaurant food, and chips. The problem is that these oils are chemically unstable. They are highly reactive. When they are processed in factories using high heat and chemical solvents, they oxidize. Consuming these oils is like eating biological rust. When you eat oxidized fats, they trigger a massive inflammatory response in the lining of your blood vessels. Remember, the kidney is basically a ball of blood vessels. When the lining of these vessels becomes inflamed, they cannot filter properly. It's like trying to filter water through a swollen, clogged sponge. This inflammation is often the first step toward kidney disease. The oil industry uses harsh solvents to extract these oils, leaving behind residues that your body was never meant to consume. Switch to stable, natural fats like olive oil, avocado oil, or butter. And finally, the number 1 enemy of your kidneys. It is not salt, it is sugar, and specifically fructose. We are talking about high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar, table sugar, and excessive fruit juice. Here is where most people get it wrong. They think sugar is only bad because it makes you gain weight or causes diabetes. But fructose has a distinct, direct pathway for destroying the kidney. Unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can use for energy, fructose is a burden that falls almost entirely on the liver. Processing fructose consumes massive amounts of energy. This energy drain triggers the production of a waste product we mentioned earlier, uric acid. Fructose is actually the single biggest driver of high uric acid in the modern diet. This uric acid inhibits the gas that keeps your blood vessels relaxed. So, when you drink a soda or eat a high-sugar dessert, you are constricting the blood flow in your kidneys and spiking the pressure. This leads to oxygen starvation in the kidney cells. Over time, this sugar overload drives insulin resistance, which forces the kidneys to hold on to salt, bringing us right back to the problems we discussed at number 10. It is a vicious cycle of high pressure, inflammation, and stress. If you want to save your kidneys, the single most effective thing you can do is eliminate liquid sugar. Eat whole fruit, but skip the juice and the soda. Your kidneys are incredibly resilient. They can heal and regenerate function if you stop the chemical assault and give them the proper nutrients to rebuild. By eliminating these 10 offenders, you aren't just saving your kidneys, you're lowering your blood pressure, improving your energy, and protecting your heart. I am curious, which of these foods was the biggest surprise to you? Was it the smoothie or the painkillers? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe for more. Stay healthy.